Tennessee football Univers- University of Tennessee does not currently have a head coach for their football team. I'm going to talk about three candidates are in the realm that are in the realm of possibility that I believe the University of Tennessee would pursue and could hire. The first one being the dream candidate being John Gruden. This would be I don't think it would be hard if he was interviewed by the University of Tennessee. It'd be hard to persuade because this is a new challenge for him. Can he be a good or a great college football head coach? You'd have the challenge, along with the challenge of returning the Vols to being a great team, because they haven't been a great team for a large amount of time. Return the Vols to being mostly a great team, similar to what Saban did with the Alabama Crimson Tide. Also, the challenges of Tennessee Volunteers mostly being a team that usually wins the SEC East, a team that usually wins the SEC, a team that is usually getting into the four teams playoff system, and that high amount of challenge, along with a team that is usually or mostly having to get them into a team that is usually that is in national championship games and doesn't just win a national championship, it wins multiple national championships for the University of Tennessee football team, along with the challenge of a team that is mostly or usually beating the Florida Gators. And also, they've never beaten the Alabama Crimson Tide during the entire time that Nick Saban has been a head coach. So, not just beat the Alabama Crimson Tide, but not just beat the Alabama Crimson Tide, but also stop being a punching bag for Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide. No doubt they couldn't. It wouldn't be likely that they'd be beating Alabama Crimson Tide pretty much every year, but I could see it returning to a competitive rivalry with John Gruden as the head coach, if he can be a decent or great college football head coach. And those are all reasons why. And he's currently available. He is a NFL analyst for ESPN, but doesn't mean he can't interview for this job. And wouldn't it be hard to persuade him, if they were offering this job, for him to take this job for all the reasons I mentioned as far as this being a challenge, for all the reasons I mentioned as far as this being a new challenge. And the second candidate, Les Miles, he's proven he can coach at the SEC level because 2005 to 2016, the LSU Tigers were either a good or they were either a good team or they're a great team, and they were in a national championship game. They won one of those, and they were in another national championship game against the great Alabama Crimson Tide. They lost that one, but they still got into two national championship games, and he does have a high winning percentage during the entire time that he was the LSU Tigers head coach. He's proven he can make an SEC team not just a winning team, but a winning team that gets in national championship title games and is either good or great. So he does have an impressive resume and proven that he coached at the SEC. And he's currently not occupied by any college football or some other football team. So it's really in the realm of possibility. It's in the realm of possibility that the University of Tennessee would hire this with Les Miles, who's already proven that he can coach at the SEC level and lead a team to national championship games, including having them win, also lead them to national championship, which they won in one of those two times. So no doubt. So Les Miles in that realm of possibility that could be not just pursued, interviewed, but also hired if pursued, interviewed, and could be hired by the University of Tennessee. That's in the realm of possibility. Third guy is Mark Helfrich. He was the Oregon Ducks football head coach for 4 seasons. He had 2 great seasons, which included getting the Oregon Ducks into the 4 teams playoffs. They won that against Florida State without sweating. They also I know they lost the national championship game against the Buckeyes, but they still got into a national championship game. So something impressive on his resume. Along with Oregon Ducks, they had a good season for his 3rd season, and then for his 4th season, it was a terrible season. So that's a 75. So looking at his college football head coaching resume during the 4 seasons, he had 2 great. He only had he had a 75%. He was winning 75% of the time. There was only one of those 4 seasons where they had a losing season. So I think most persons would agree that's a pretty good or great resume. It's enough which is impressive enough that the University of Tennessee would decide to, and he's currently not occupied by any college football team. He's currently a Fox Sports college football analyst. So realm of possibility that I could see. It's in the realm of possibility that the University of Tennessee could call him, ask him if he's going to interview him if he decides to accept. Talking about interview him for the college football Volunteers head coach job, and see if possibility that he could get. He's in the realm of possibility that he could get hired by the University of Tennessee. And those are all the candidates. I know that there are other candidates, including Mike Riley, Brett Belima, I think I might get his last name wrong because I have it. Belima. If I get his last name wrong, then that's on me. Mike Riley, Mike Riley, also Kevin Sumlin and others, Jim Mora, except none of them have what it's pretty recently have pretty good or great resumes. So as far as being a college football head coach, which is why I don't imagine that they're in the realm of possibility of being hired by the University of Tennessee, unless of course the 3 guys I mentioned they decide to decline it or aren't interested. Then they're highly possible that they would, including Kevin Sumlin, that was responsible for coaching the SEC team, that he'd be in the realm of possibility. So I don't think they're in the realm of possibility, but could be wrong. They could be in the realm of possibility, mainly because they were recently all had jobs as college football head coaches. So it's not something that they would have to. Something they'd kind of be rusty with. They'd be rusty with. That they'd be rusty with because they did it recently for this current. For the current college football season, so it wouldn't be something they have to get reacquainted with or something unlikely they'd be rusty with. So those are all the candidates that are in the realm of possibility to be hired by the University of Tennessee, according to me, for the Volunteers football head coaching job.